Time now for First Alert Weather with meteorologist Rob Nucatola.
All right, good morning. Happy Wednesday, everybody. 24-hour temperature cast going to keep those numbers on the low side today. We got to 89 officially yesterday, but our streak of 7 straight days not reaching 90 is continuing, and I think it will continue for another couple of days. You know, September 11th is actually the first time since back at the end of May that our normal daytime high isn't supposed to reach 90 degrees. So we're past the hottest part of the summer. We'll take it. I think we're going to keep temperatures on the cooler side for another couple of days as we talk about Francine and its impacts. And I think we're going to notice that breeze a little bit today, which may make it feel a little bit cooler out there, but I do think it's going to be awfully muggy. Now on the radar picture, we've got some spots where there's some showers. Nothing real heavy, nothing big downpourish, but I do see some sprinkles in parts of like Lafayette County, Taylor County, Madison County. I see a little bit more between Thomasville and Bainbridge, not much, and a little bit more as you head on up into like Miller County and way up towards Dougherty County. So we've got some showers in spots. We'll notice maybe some drizzle on some windshields for the morning commute. We're going to see a lot of clouds out there this morning, but this is not the big rainy day, not today. We've got an old boundary lifting to the north. We've got all this available moisture, and some of it's going to get wrung out. As we go through the afternoon to tonight, our focus shifts west and south, and we're watching to see what Francine does, because that's going to bring some of those bands of rain all across the Gulf Coast, including our part of the Gulf Coast, and those are going to spread north, so everybody's got a pretty good shot to get a pretty good wave of rain or 3 tomorrow, and that's likely going to get started very early, maybe even this time tomorrow morning. We're at 76 right now in Tallahassee. We're at 73 in Thomasville. Got a pretty good breeze from the northeast. Those dew point numbers are still up over 70, so it is still muggy outside. Here are a few more air temperatures around the region. Not seeing any numbers that start with a 6. Marianna and Blakely are close at 70. Most of us are someplace in those middle 70s, and that's probably where the temperatures are going to stay for the next few hours. The breeze today, definitely going to be something that we feel. Out of the northeast and east right now, it's in that 3 to 13 mile per hour range. I think later on it'll be more in that 8 to 18 mile per hour range. So we're going to call that breezy for sure. I do not expect fog to be an issue, not with that breeze doing its part to really stir everything up. Now, the big weather feature, of course, is the hurricane, and it is a hurricane. Got there last night. It will be there for most of the day today. Once it gets over land later on today, it'll start to weaken. Now, as we take a look at our future cast, we've got that boundary bringing us some showers today. These are not related to the hurricane. But as we get through tonight and early tomorrow morning, we're going to start to see some of these showers spread in from the west. These are the bands wrapping around the hurricane. And while the core of that storm itself, several hundred miles to the west, this is going to be a big enough storm where those wraparound bands are going to bring periods of rain, maybe a couple different ones at times tomorrow, and there can be some dangerous weather associated with those bands. So during the day tomorrow, please keep checking in with us. We'll have updates for you as we talk about what's going on with our weather that is being impacted by the hurricane. Now, the 5 a.m. information puts those winds with Francine at 90 miles per hour around that core. The movement of the storm to the northeast at 10 miles per hour. There's a little trough that's moving through parts of Texas. It's starting to nudge this a little bit harder to the east, so that may shift thinking a little bit over the next 12 hours or so, and that may put more of eastern Louisiana at risk, and that does mean near New Orleans. So we've got things that we'll be watching carefully over there, especially this afternoon, after lunchtime, maybe before midnight. That seems to be the window where the worst of the weather will be making landfall. From there, it continues north, may run into a little resistance from the Appalachians, and that likely keeps the bulk of that rain well off to our north and west. So we're talking about those wraparound bands more than anything else. Now, notice where we have some of these orange colors, some of the tropical storm warnings where we expect tropical storm-like conditions. They get across Mobile Bay, they get into parts of the Florida Panhandle, or at least right up to the Florida-Alabama border. Now, I think we can continue to expect to feel some high wind, some high surf, maybe a little bit of surge all the way through the Panhandle waters, through the Emerald Coast, and maybe past Panama City down to Cape San Blas. So interests on that part of the Panhandle, especially near the coast, we can certainly feel some impacts near the beaches in addition to the rain and the wind, which is going to be something. Here's what the storm looks like. Still very healthy. You see all those darker colors. That's that convection, the showers and the storms. The more of that we see, that's usually a pretty good indication that this is a pretty healthy storm. It is a little bit more compact today compared to yesterday, so we'll see if it's going to continue to strengthen a little tiny bit. On the tropical radar, that rain associated with it is more to the north than it is to the south and west. Yesterday we saw it on both sides of the core. Today we're seeing a little bit more to the north and northeast. That's actually more common with these tropical systems. So plenty for us to keep our eyes on with Francine. And we are not going to forget about the other energy that's way out across the Atlantic. Two more pieces of energy way out there. The one in front, a little bit less likely to develop. The one behind it, a little bit more likely. Both look like they want to stay in the Atlantic, but it's early. We've got plenty of time to watch those, and we will, and I'll continue to bring you updates for that too. On the Gulf close to home today, going to be breezy. More showers are expected. Winds out of the east 12 to 22 and seas 2 to 4 feet. It will be choppy in the protected waters. I've got the rain chances like 50 or 60% this morning. I'm not expecting big rain this morning. I'm not expecting big rain this afternoon, but there's going to be some showers, and that'll keep the temperatures down. A lot of us probably get to the low 80s. That's all. The rain chances between like 40 and 60% during the day. Now tonight, that's when we expect those bands to be marching along the Gulf Coast. That's when our rain chances increase, and that's where they're going to stay, I think, throughout the day tomorrow, as several bands of rain are likely wrapping around the hurricane. So we'll have plenty to watch tomorrow with showers, with storms, and some of those storms can be dangerous. So please keep checking in with us. I'll have updates. It feels like by Friday, this is all winding down, and we should be clearing up a bit. I'm optimistic for the weekend, a little brighter, a little drier. Not any cooler. We're still in the second week of September, so numbers near 90 are normal. 89 is our typical daytime high. I think we're going to be close this weekend. I think it's going to feel a little bit better this weekend, but the weekend is still a few days away, and we've got a hiccup or two first named Francine.